Alright, I'm bored. Anyway, time to rank every single planet on how habitable it can be for life. Yep, I'm a space nerd. You probably are too, considering you clicked on this video. So let's just get into it. So first here is Earth. You know, Earth can support life, so of course it's getting the top tier. Not impossible. I mean, you could do it in theory, but it would still be pretty hard. Chances are low. Yeah, pretty much speaks for itself. It would be extremely hard to pull off correctly, and a lot of mistakes could be made. People on Dreaming Pal is essentially, it would take so much that it might as well be impossible. And not a chance is impossible. So, Mercury. I'm gonna put this in Keep on Dreaming now. The days are too hot, the nights are too cold, and it literally has no atmosphere to speak of. Moving on. Okay, Venus. You know, as it stands, um, I think it's gonna go and Keep on Dreaming, pal. Or maybe not a chance. Okay, here's the shtick with Venus, okay? It's thundering a lot outside. Here's the deal with Venus. Venus. There have been gases that have been seen on Venus that require organic life to exist. So I'm actually gonna put this in chances are low. Because Venus is an extremely hot planet. And it would require the removal of its gaseous atmosphere, which is what keeps all the heat trapped inside it. So I'm gonna put that in chances are low. Okay, Earth automatically, it has its own tier, Earth tier. I mean, of course it sustains life. We're on it right now. Okay, Mars. You can't really, you can't talk about Mars. You can't talk about, like, inhabitable planets and not talk about Mars. But honestly, I'm putting it in Keep on Dreaming, pal. And there are a couple reasons for this. Logically, Mars would not be the place you'd want to start a colony. You'd want to start it in something like Venus, or a moon of some kind. Mars might want to be one of the last places you would want to look. If you want to start a long-lasting colony on Mars, that's never going to happen. And you might be saying, but there's water on Mars. Okay. And you may be right. You're definitely right. There is ice on Mars. In order for there to be, okay, so I'm not putting it in not a chance. But I'm gonna be honest. Mars is cold. It's cold, it's harsh. And you might be saying, but we can terraform it. Okay. Here's the problem with it. You can terraform it. And that'll buy you a couple thousand years. But some of you may not know this. There is a moon of Mars slowly approaching Mars. And it is known as Phobos. And it is a asteroid. It is an asteroid that orbits around Mars. And it's very close, mind you. It's very close to Mars. It orbits close to Mars. And it is slowly approaching Mars at a fairly fast rate, about an inch a year. So, it eventually, it is going to make it to Mars. And when that happens, and there are humans on Mars, it is going to be a cataclysm. It is going to be an absolute cataclysm and will kill many. So if you want to have a long-lasting colony on Mars, you will die. There is going to be a cataclysm. And you could say, oh, we can just destroy Phobos. As I've previously said, Phobos is very close to Mars. So if you were to launch some type of missile at it, or some type of weapon, needless to say, that would probably backfire. Not only that, people are probably going to be mad that you just destroyed, a satellite of one of the most famous planets in the world. They're not going to be too happy. Especially astronomers. Considering you just destroyed a wonder of nature. As for the other moon, Deimos, that's also moving away. So you don't really have to worry about the other moons. So yeah, Sirius went on a rant about how stupid the idea of like going on Mars is and starting a colony there, but that's just my personal opinion. Keep dreaming, as I just said, but you know. Okay, next planet, Jupiter. Not a chance. Not only is it a gas giant, but even if it was a terrestrial planet, as some of you may know, Jupiter is the largest planet in the solar system. If you had the ability to stand on Jupiter and mid, you would be crushed like a tin can instantly due to its sheer mass. Not to mention that there are also humongous hurricanes on Jupiter that can literally rip you to shreds in a couple seconds. And you might just be saying, well, that's just in the Great Red Spot. Not only is the Great Red Spot humongous, it also changes its size regularly. And there are also more than one. Although the Great Red Spot is indeed the biggest of those storms, that doesn't mean that you're safe as long as you stay away from it. It's still an extremely windy planet. But you wouldn't even have time to get torn to shreds by the wind. You would instantly be crushed like a tin can if you stood on Jupiter, due to its sheer mass and gravity being too powerful for you to even stand. Saturn! Also, not a chance. It's a gas giant. And, Probably the exact same thing that would happen on Jupiter would happen on Saturn. Saturn does have a core, but at that point you'd probably be dead by the time you reached it. Saturn is also a humongous planet. And it has literally no matter that you can even touch. And the core is probably so hot that you would die upon reaching it. So this is also a not a chance. Uranus. Too cold. I mean, it's just way too cold, man. You would probably die of hypothermia upon reaching it. Probably before you even would make it to its surface if it were a terrestrial planet. Automatically. Not a chance. Maybe some of its moons. But the only moons that are really habitable are like the ones of Jupiter and Saturn. So I don't really like the chances of Uranus becoming a planet that supports life. Neptune, my personal favorite. You may be my favorite Neptune, but you aren't habitable. I mean, the same thing as Uranus. I mean, way too cold, way too far out there. Just like, oh yeah. And not only is it like super duper cold, it's also like windy. Just like Jupiter. Except Jupiter, on Jupiter, it's way worse. So, yeah. You know that little, like, you know that little, like, dark part of Neptune? Yeah, that's a storm. That's a hurricane called the Great Dark Spot. Essentially, the the great the Great Red Spot, um, the Great Red Spot's like cousin, because they're not too different. So yeah, this has been my life compatibility planet tier list. I hope you enjoyed. Toodles.